Well, welcome, my friends. We are with, and we have someone special on the channel today. We're with Murtaugh, a Town Hall 11 base builder for Clantanemo Bay, a CWO invite clan, a beast himself. And welcome to the channel, man.
Thank you for that intro. It's very nice.
Well, of course. No, I always love having guests, and I can't honestly. I'm actually gonna be maybe hitting his base in about 2 weeks. So, because he's a Town Hall 11 player, obviously. So maybe I'll have to come back and, you know, hopefully. Well, he's hoping he'll defend, and I guess I'm hoping I'll take him down. So we'll find out what happens.
So we could do like a follow-up episode where you could show the attack, and
that would be cool. Yeah.
Just adding pressure.
That's right. See where you can trip me up, you know, put those spring traps or whatever you got cooked up your sleeve. But
oh man.
So I guess kind of tell us, and what is your process of building Town Hall 11 bases? And I know you're gonna put one on the screen for us, so we can kind of look at one of your kind of anti-2 bases these days. But yeah, just kind of go, like, how do you go about building, and what's kind of going through your mind?
Well, I started out, it's kind of funny, like, how I actually got into base building. Pre-CWL, probably, it's kind of funny, actually, season 1 at the start, I don't even know what I used for bases. I don't know if I copied them. I don't know if they were given to me. I really can't remember. But my answer was, you know, I suck at base building, so I just can't do it. And that was like the thing. And after a while, I kind of, you know, thought to myself, and I was like, you know, I'm not satisfied with that. That's not me. So I started just building, and I would put them up, have them tested, they'd get wrecked. And, you know, the guys that would hit them would just point things out. Well, I saw this, so I'm going to do that. I saw this and saw this. And it took a process of about, I mean, there was a point I swear I would have to build about 30 bases to get one that was somewhat, the structure was good enough where we could move forth and then start tweaking. And then after I did that process, you know, a couple dozen times, it's like the number got fewer and fewer to where, you know, now I got to a point where I could build like 5 bases and then one of them would be decent. And I'm not saying by any means I'm this master base builder. I still put out some clunkers every once in a while, but it's definitely something that I've noticed at the time you put in, it was like, as I would start to build, I put a building there and I could automatically see somebody taking advantage of it. I'd be like, okay, now I need to move that out. So really it's just kind of just gathering all this info and all these little tips, you know, over the past few CWL seasons that I've kind of got to the point where I'm at now. But really, I start out with, I know a lot of people do it differently. I start out with the core first and then build outwards. But that's basically like,
do you want to post one of your, sorry, you want to post one of the 11 so we can look at it? Yeah,
I've got it as my, I don't,
it's on. Oh, it says your. It says your. Oh, I see your actual.
Well,
okay.
Actually, it's here. I can actually.
No, I see it. I see it. Yeah, I'm looking at your home base.
Okay, if you want a scout view, I can actually post this one. The cooldown is on.
Yeah, we can see your. Yeah, we can see your traps on this one. So.
Okay. So, you know, with this one, it seems like right now. It's kind of hard because there's so many different attack strategies out there. You literally have to kind of attack everything. But it seems like one of the biggest kind of designs that you're going to see is you're going to see not a dead center town hall. The town hall is going to be offset. And in the beginning, this started because I was always told, you cannot, at Town Hall 11, you don't have the defenses to defend 4 sides, north, south, east, and west. You just can't do it. If you put everything out evenly, then the attacker's going to be able to pick a side and come through it. So probably towards right when those funnel walls started to become a thing, Actually, I think it was Spartans Legacy that started those, if I'm not correct. That's when you started seeing that, the town hall would be so far from one side, you had to come through one direction. So you'll have the town hall closer to one side, and then you kind of want to make it to where if they come in from the two adjacent sides, they're not going to get the percent. So that was the game then, was, they pretty much had to try to come through one side to get the town hall. And it's almost like the meta has flipped now. It's almost like people have found out attack strategies to push through from the deep side. So now they've got the percent as long as they push through and get to the town hall. So it's almost like when I'm building these now, even though I have the front of the town hall trapped, I'm really not planning on them coming through to the closest side, because most of the time they're not going to get the percent. So I'm kind of planning on them coming in the back way. One thing that I've switched up is white walls. Have you seen how people use white walls differently?
Yeah, I've seen a variety. So I don't know. Since I'm not a base builder, I don't. As an attacker, it hasn't scared me away. Their placement of it hasn't scared me away. I mean, I think in the core, I know on this one you have white walls in the core, but it seems a lot of people are going on the outside with the white walls. I don't know. Is that what you're saying about the switch, or are you seeing the opposite?
Yeah. I mean, there for a while it was on the somewhere that more applicable for somebody to break in. You're having to have them bring an extra wall breaker. But what I found, and I mean, probably wasn't me. I'm sure Smets figured this out before me. But a lot of times you've got, what's the attacker trying to do? They're trying to funnel their armies into that town hall compartment. So if you've got, jumping into that town hall and they've cleared everything out behind it, once that town hall is dropped, get to something else, they've got to go through one of those walls. So it really is more beneficial to make them chew through the heavier walls, because a lot of times that's where, every little percent counts. And I've just noticed having the white really stall out a squad of Valks and King trying to break through on their own.
Yeah, and I see it more with Valkyries, because if you are pushing with Valkyries, the tricky part as an attacker, if you bring too many troops, if you have Valkyries banging on a wall afterwards, that means you've made the mistake. You've brought too many troops to the core. But it's hard, because if you don't bring enough, you might not get it down. So it's kind of it's a cat and mouse game, I guess. You're trying to figure out what will take down the town hall. But yeah, that's a smart idea as far as base building, because usually there's Infernos, by the town hall, of course. So they're going to be destroying the bowlers, or especially the Valkyries, I guess. Yeah, and that was something that you mentioned on the podcast the other night, the allocation of troops, and it's really very smart to, like you said, make sure that you're using the right amount of troops for what their job is. And I think that's really big as a hit up. You don't want to be all the time having that full health golem still beating on the outside, when you didn't have enough troops to push through to the core. I thought that was pretty interesting. Yeah, I mean, it's I've just learned the hard way, because I feel like percentage I'm telling you, it's so hard to get that percentage, because even as you said, the bases, how they're built, most people, they're kind of like teaser bases. Most people are oh, I can get the town hall really easy, and they can get it down, but then they have no percentage. They've given everything for they put in all their cards on the table, and they realize, oh wait, that's not going to work. So yeah, I mean, there are weaknesses obviously to every base. I feel like nowadays, what do you think? Are you I see dragons a lot. How are you defending against dragons, besides obviously putting air defenses near the town hall? Are there any other tricks up your sleeve that you have been thinking about? You pretty much, you want to make it to where, of course, cutting the funnel to the town hall is going to be one of the harder parts. But a lot of times I will make sure that I have at least 2 air Ds that are double covering the town hall. But more important to the air Ds is actually the sweepers. On this layout where I have the
the air sweepers double crossing like that. I will have that on pretty much all of my bases. It was like one war in particular. I noticed that I can't remember who we faced, but they were really good doing hit ups with drags. And 3 of our bases had sweepers that were both pointing the same direction, trying to stop, I guess, like an 11v11. And all 3 of those bases got smashed with drags, and they didn't use drags on the 2 that were crossed. So I kind of started noticing that in FCing. I noticed that it was just much more difficult to, when they couldn't get, if the sweepers were out more and they could actually take that out in part of their funnel process, they could get them. But when you have the sweepers that close to the town hall, it just seemed like it was much harder for drags. And secondly, you almost want to have I like on this base, I like it to where even if you do funnel a bunch of drags into that town hall, they're going to die off pretty quick after that. If you notice, as soon as they move to the Infernos or the CC, now they've got double expos on air and double air defenses in range. So they're not going to get much percent after that. So hopefully they have allocated the troops wrong and they've sent in too many drags. But other than that, that's really about all I do. And queen placement. Drags are really good if the queen is in the same compartment as the town hall or right behind it. But on this base where she is kind of off to the side, you're really going to have to really come more at her with the drags or take her out in your charge or some of your funneling process.
Yeah, and a note on the sweepers, I've seen this a lot, and this is just more of a personal preference. A lot of people like to zap quake those sweepers. I think it's like the worst strategy ever.
I agree.
Well, only because it's the troop allocation. A sweeper, the thing, if you have enough drags or baby dragons in the core, if they're under rage, they can take down the town hall. A sweeper will not. I mean, if it's just 2 spell, or bring a freeze or something. I just don't. I see it a lot. It's not even just every once in a while. Like so many, we faced a lot of clans, and I don't know. I know everyone has their own strategies, but I just don't think it's worth 2 spells for just one little defensive building. So anyway, just in case y'all are out there listening, don't try to work around it. Do something different.
Well, I mean, you can't freeze the sweeper twice and quake the town hall with the same amount of spells, right?
Yeah, and you could. I mean, if you brought a freeze, you could. You maybe you'll be able to freeze a Expo or a Inferno or something.
Well, on this base, you could freeze the sweeper and the air defense. Twice.
Yeah, I know, and by the time that happens, I mean the dragons, they're either going to get the town hall or they won't.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah.
No, anyway, that's just a side note, but.
Well, so, and another thing. Yeah, I was gonna tell you about Black Mine placement too. I built a base a few wars ago where it seemed to be in FCs that was the only attack that really got it was like a queen charge up one side, king and bowlers for another, and they were able to get about 6 drags to the core. So I actually took about 3 of my Black Mines and staggered them out in front. And that seemed to be enough. Air traps they have so many uses. 10v11. It seems to be one of the biggest ones is the Black Mines basically still on the corners to kind of stop a baby drag. But bigger than that is the red mines. Hasted loons are such a good strat used for 10v11. They have so many different uses of what you can do. And I mean just like naked loons, not like an actual Lalo. But I will a lot of times around the outer side, I would like to have pockets of defenses. I don't like to have just like an archer tower stuck out there by herself because they can seriously hasten, 2 loons and take that no problem. So a lot of times I will try to have like an archer tower next to a whiz tower with a hidden Tesla in there somewhere around and a red bomb. So many times I've seen people haste in like 8 loons straight to the wizard tower first. And with the red bomb, the Tesla pop, which, gives the pause, actually the loons get nothing. And that's something that I use a lot that really helps to just mess up a raid, at least the first time.
Yeah, no, I agree. Yeah, it can. I've seen people are switching, putting a couple even black bombs in the core to try to stop those dragons, or at least along the pathway. Yeah, I always, as far as an attacker, if I'm doing a queen walk, like honestly, like the base right here, looking at it, I mean, even if I didn't know the traps, it's to me it's screaming like some sort of queen walk, only because what I'm looking at is the expos. The only thing that can stop a queen walk, really, completely stop it, are expos. So it's interesting. Yeah, I mean, are you more of are you, when you think about base design, are you thinking about, okay, I got to stop bowlers, golems, or are you trying to like stop one particular attack, or are you trying to defend against it all, which might be impossible?
No, I'm literally trying to go over everything. It's hard to really just kind of pick one attack out and try to defend it. I know that there was a period of time where I would make sure that bowler smash was stopped first, just because it seemed like every war you saw it at least 5 times. But now, as that has kind of gone out of the way, I definitely will try to stop the queen charge more. A lot of times I will have air defenses in Inferno range. So even if they do charge in for an air defense, they're going to have to deal with heroes, CC, skellies, things like that. Because like you said, if you have an air defense out there, it's, especially with people bringing the max healers. Have you played around with that much?
I have not. I mean, I've seen people do it. Personally, I've never done it. I've always thought the max bowlers and the CC, I would prefer those over the max healers, but it could change. I just haven't made the switch yet. Has your clan been doing that?
Yeah, and I'm telling you, the difference is huge. They're actually putting 3 of their own healers, and then 2 out of the CC, and then a loon in the CC2. So the loon will actually come out and get to maybe triple mine, or sometimes if an archer tower is locked on the queen, it will actually sneak up and actually take out a defense. But with 3 healers and then 2 max healers on her, it is incredible what she can stand up to. It really is.
Yeah, that's what I've seen it, and so I guess we'll see. Yeah, I don't know if that will be the meta that completely takes over or not. So I guess we'll find out. I'll try it on your base. Okay. Make me a queen walkable base, and then I'll hit it. No. It would be, you know what? Let's post this base. Post that. Can you post that one? And let me try to hit it.
Yeah.
Just for fun, just because the viewers, I don't know, they always like. Let me brew up. I don't even know what to brew up. Let me just do something. I'm gonna do a queen walk, I guess, on it, and then why not? Let's do it for fun and see how your base. Now on the base we were just looking at, what do you think that defends against the best?
I've not had this base tested at all. That's one of the reasons I'm showing it now. I hope it's not some super OP base, but it's when it comes to first round, honestly, I have put up some pretty crazy bases for first runs, just because a lot of times you just don't know, you don't know what's going to work. And so many times I'll see them get hit once, and I'm like, there's no saving that, and I'll just immediately just wipe it clean. But as I watch it get hit, I just kind of see, what did well, what didn't. Is that fixable? Can this be tweaked? And then just start the process over. Let the cooldown run another 24, and then try it again.
I feel like if you could avoid free bowler bounces.
That's definitely, yeah. That's big. On my bases, I try to anywhere I have a storage, I always look at the building behind it, and I don't want that to be like a high value building. A lot of the times, if you're going to have gaps, it's always good to have them behind the storages. Actually, it was funny because that war we had against Faked Wargasm, I tried like a new concept, and I said, okay, screw the free percentage. I don't care. I'm just going to make a base where everything is in the ideal position. I don't want to give away any bowler bounces, nothing. So everything had gaps around the edges. So literally every time that bowlers would throw, they were literally taking down one building at a time. And I didn't realize how far I'd pushed it until I started getting attacked. But people were bringing like 8 archers, 7 minions, 2 wizards. I mean, they were taking out mortars with the minion, and like it was crazy. But that was the base that held so many hits. And I mean, it worked in that case. I have not got it to work again. But it like they would drop a golem and rage bowlers, and they would get like 6 buildings. And it was like, man, like the bowler bounces really, that's where the value comes from with those damn things. But I haven't been able to find a happy medium, and keeping the bounces to a minimum, yet still keeping everything protected. It's always a pro con. Every time you move a building, it like Infernos, especially like you said in this compartment, I move them 1 tile out. That range is way over that wall, so queen walks are going to be super hard. Kill squads coming through are going to be in an under Inferno way more, but once those bowlers get in, now they can hit the Inferno from that wall. They're not being directed around while they're under Inferno. So yeah, it's just like every building is, you're helping this attack and you're hurting this attack.
Yeah, it makes it hard that you can't, any little tweak, you gotta wait a whole day to test it. Dude, I mean, obviously it makes sense. I know why they do it, but it makes base. That's why base building is, I think, behind. It can be behind because
it is.
It takes time to catch up. So
if I could sit here and tweak a base and have you hit it and tweak it again, oh man, dude, I could be cranking out some good bases. But you got to wait for the cooldown, and when it's cool, I mean, hell, maybe I'm at work that night, and by the time I get off, I got to work early the next day. So now you're talking 2 days before you can have it hit again, and then that day you get on, and all your testers are busy, and now you're at 3 days. I mean, it hurts if you have a real life too. That hurts it as well. But yeah, that cooldown, it really hurts.
I feel like Infernos can really. Well, I mean, I think they're one of the most important things for the 11 defense, because they defend like even at bowler charges. Bowlers can't last long under those max Infernos. Have you thought about even Inferno placement and where to? Are you always on board right next to the town hall, or have you tried other tricks with the Infernos?
I have tried more spreading them out, and me personally, I don't have as much success with it. I think that a double Inferno it just does so much damage. I think for like Valken bowler kill squads, I think it's really great. But it seemed like when I was spreading them out, I don't know, it just seemed like they were getting, I don't know, just getting taken out easier, if that makes sense. It's like the further out you put them, the more exposed they are. So if they're tight in the core, you literally have to go through a third of the base before you can get to it, if that makes sense. I guess that's my thought process behind it. But it does open the queen up. So I guess on this base, I am more relying on the air defense placement, that to get them, you're going to have to break in. Like I said, normally the one at 3 and 6, that there should be one more tile there. I never put an air defense that you can just break in once and walk. On this one, the Inferno does reach over that wall a little bit. Could you walk through that, or would that force an ability?
No, I would steer away from it, because it just depends on her pathing. She would take down one of the expos before range, but I don't know. You could do it if you had help with other troops, but the problem is the your hound comes out too, and then if she's within range of the hound inside the Inferno, then it's away. So I would still, that's why I wouldn't walk from that end. I would either walk from 12 to 9 or from 6 to 3-ish, or you know, make that loop, because you can, it's very hard to charge into an Inferno on a queen, kind of like on that base. So I would steer clear from it. So it does deter against that. Yeah, I don't know. I like the base. I think there's, I mean, I would not choose dragons myself, probably on this. Now you could though, and if you did to choose dragons, I mean, it's, I think it could easily, not easily work, but it definitely could work, because you could lightning one, which would be worth it, and then you could bowler kill push another one.
Yeah,
so there are options for that, but no, it's, yeah, I don't know. It's a nice base build that you had, and doing it. Let's see.
And then you still have to, of course, protect from bowler smash. I remember.
Yeah.
Last war, I had a base that, I mean, it had been hit probably 30 times in FCs, queen charges, dragons, just everything I could think of. And not even 2 hours before we match for war, somebody gets on, has a 4-golem bowler cooked up, looks at it for literally 30 seconds, and just absolutely smashes it. And you're just like, no, like, you know, you'd been looking over everything else, and you know, nobody had really hit it with that attack. So I have one guy in the clan that I always hit him up. He's really good with bowler smashes, and now first thing I do is have him hit it first, and see what it does, then move on from there.
Yeah, I mean, that's the thing. Base building, it's going to be, eventually it'll be cracked. I guess it just depends. If you can hold, you know, if you can get a couple defenses, you know, you've done your job. So any base builders out there, like, you should take pride in getting those defenses, because that's huge. That just, you know, that's the difference between winning and losing, honestly.
Nothing feels better than watching your base. This season, man, I've been up and down. I've been fresh twice, and then versus like Faked Orgasm, who they're really good at hitting up. I think it took 6 hits for my base, and they still couldn't clean it. They had to hit it within 11, and I still didn't get it. It still was left 1 starred, and it's like, man, what was so good about that one, but not the others? It's a fickle game we play with building these 11 bases.
Yeah, no, it totally is, and I don't know. It's, as I said in the podcast, it's extremely difficult, but extremely fun at the same time, because I mean, even I'm sure from a base builder standpoint, it's, you know, I'm sure that, you know, the joy of knowing that it's hard, and it's like I don't know. I'm not a base builder myself, but I'm sure you take great pride, and unfortunately base builders don't really get recognition. You know, we only see the attacks, we only see or, you know, we highlight the attacks on YouTube videos. There's not many people, you know, saying, you know, highlighting the defenses, because usually if you're doing that, I mean, I guess you might be burning a base, but so anyways, yeah, props to you and all your, you know, all the base builders out there who work hard.
I know that if we're in a big war, and I'm always excited when war starts to see the bases. You know, you want to see what other people are doing, and if we have a war, we really struggle on a base, I'll like hit one of them up and say, hey, who built that base? Because I know how it goes. You know, just because that's his base doesn't mean he built it. And it seems like every time we face Faked Orgasm, I'm always hitting them up. All right, bases 2, 3, and 5. Who built those? I swear, they have, every time we face them, they have some of the strongest bases, just top to bottom. Their base building team is just ridiculous over there.
Yeah, that's what I've heard. So I guess I'll maybe find out one day.
They're pretty good. Yeah. Yep.
So did you have any other thoughts or things you wanted to say? Tips, tricks, or just anything in general?
It does seem that mortars are kind of useless, but at the same time, they're very necessary on a base. They're very needed for basically just distracting loons, hasted loons from the outside. It seems like I don't know. I put a lot of my time and effort trying to stop these damn hasted loons, but I don't know. I wish they would beef mortars up, give them a little. I'm really wondering if when they ever do the gear up for the multi, I wonder if we're going to see the meta where people are actually going to start putting them inside the base. I know at builder base, that mortar is pretty serious. So I wonder if they're gonna start showing the mortar some love at any given point.
Yeah, and that would be interesting. I mean, I would see it definitely stopping kind of those boulder pushes. A lot.
Yeah, I mean a big boulder kill squad. Yeah.
Yeah, they would just be destroyed. So yeah, I guess we'll find out. I don't know. I'm not a fan of the builder hall, but that's a different it's a different story altogether.
You don't want to switch over and watch some attacks? I got some cool replays I can show you.
I mean, my favorite thing to do is no. I know my favorite thing on it. I just kind of like I don't play it. It is what it is, I guess. But apparently it's popular, so.
Some people like it.
Well, cool. I appreciate you coming on and talking some Town Hall 11 ideas and thoughts, and maybe someone will get inspired to build their own, or maybe they'll be too scared and just be like, yeah, I'm just going to copy bases the rest of my my existence.
And if I can do it, trust me.
Anyone can, I guess. Okay. Well, that's good to know.
That's right.
Well, cool.
Yeah, man. Thanks for having me on.
Yeah, thanks, Murtaugh. Appreciate it. And we will. I'll see you in 2 weeks when I attack your base and take it down.
That's right.
Smash it to smithereens.
Next episode.
Okay. See you, man.
All right. See you.